discourse will be a mix of Hindi and English. So without further ado, let's welcome Her Grace Premeshvari Padmavati Mataji, the loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare. Welcome Mataji. Over to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Thank you so much for this kind introduction. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Ham Vande Shri Gurum Dimitaranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayataka Swaminiti Namni Namo Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayane Gaura Katha Damadaya Nagadam Hare Krishna. So first of all, I would like to thank the this opportunity to speak about the glories of Guru Maharaj. So even though I'm not at all qualified to glorify him, but still for my purification, I would like to share some realizations and share how Guru Maharaj has been inspiring me. And so, like when Consider Vishal Prabhu asked me that what would be the title for today's topic. So I thought that, the thing that really inspires me a lot about Guru Maharaj is how he is so connected with the mood of the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada. And, in every action, we're able to see him teach us the practical demonstration of this thing. So I thought, let me share some of my realizations in this regard. And I would also like to, before I start, I would also like to seek the blessings of Guru Maharaj. I would like to pay my respectful humble obeisances to his lotus feet. And Hare Krishna. So as we're going to talk about what has been Guru Maharaj's mood, or what is Guru Maharaj's mood, in several of his dealings with his disciples, godbrothers, and the people at large, whether the disciples of other initiated spiritual masters or just general, because Guru Maharaj often goes to the hospitals, so the way he deals with the hospital staff, like doctors, nurses, etc. In each of his actions, we're able to see that he is showing us practically, he's demonstrating practically the mood of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara. So, Shastras explain, in Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada has categorically written this in his book, which said, out of the two qualifications of any spiritual master, one is that he is in a bona fide disciplic succession and he represents the message as it is without concocting his own personal philosophy. And we also know that just like there is book Srimad Bhagavatam, there is also person Srimad Bhagavatam who actually infers the philosophical knowledge that is given in our Shastras and teaches us by his own personal experience how can we follow those teachings in our personal day-to-day lives, because we are not yet completely advanced. We are still in a conditioned stage in this material world. So for us, as we are going, as we are progressing in this part of bhakti, we come up with many questions. There are often circumstances where we really don't know how to practically apply a particular philosophical principle that we have learned. But then that is why we have our spiritual masters who, in accordance with Shastra, so Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, they teach us that how this can be imbibed by us in our personal lives. So, whenever I see Guru Maharaj, I can only see that he is trying to represent this teachings of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara to us. I'll start off with sharing that how in every of his conversation, every of his lecture, there's so much emphasis to Srila Prabhupada. It's not like he wants to say that, this is what I'm trying to teach you, or this is what I have learned from Shastras I want to teach you. No, it's always, he's trying to give Srila Prabhupada's teachings to us. So, when I got initiated, in the initiation talk that Guru Maharaj gave, there was one particular sentence which really touched my heart, and I felt so inspired by it. So what had happened was that time we were in Mumbai, and as Mataji said, we used to go in the local temples in Bombay and engage in various services like flower service or kitchen service or some backup room services. And and back then it was like maybe once a year or twice a year we will get the opportunity to come to Sridham Mayapur for maybe like a 2 or 3 weeks. And Mayapur has been like very close to my heart, so I always wanted to be here for more, just because here we actually got direct association of Guru Maharaj and several Prabhupada disciples, the opportunity to engage in the services and so on and so forth. So just before, when I was sitting for that initiation, before Guru Maharaj arrived, when all the procedural things were being done, all candidates were being made to sit in that room. That time, I had this thought that I really want to engage in some personal service to Guru Maharaj. So as we understand, there is Vani Seva and then there is Bappu Seva. But so at that point of time, in my mind, I had that being a woman or being a Mataji, it's very unlikely that we'll ever get an opportunity to do Bappu Seva for Guru Maharaj. I mean, even for others, it's only the team that actually serves who does Bappu Seva is limited. So I was just having this thought that, if some way we can get the chance to do some personal service for Guru Maharaj in that regard. I'm not confusing the philosophical aspect, I'm not saying Vani Seva or in that way. That was there, that clarity was there thanks to Guru Maharaj. But just that desire was there that, I wish I can do some personal service for Guru Maharaj. So, and then Guru Maharaj arrived and he started his lecture. And in that lecture, he said, that whatever service you all render at the local ISKCON temple or Namahatta center or whatever center that is connected to Srila Prabhupada, I will consider it as personal service to me. And that line just went and it touched my heart. Obviously, it touches my heart for two reasons. First, that I was just thinking, just few minutes ago, I had this thought that I wish I could do some personal service for Guru Maharaj, and I got the answer from him, wherein he's saying that whatever service you're doing at the local ISKCON temple, if you're doing it sincerely and you're doing it there for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, then I'll consider it as personal service for me. And the second thing why I really liked it was that he was not so much bothered about how much significance his disciples are giving to him, but rather he wants that all of us actually give that position to Srila Prabhupada as a preeminent Shiksha Guru in ISKCON, and we all try to learn from his teachings. And as I'll cover, in this today's discussion, some other points in which, Guru Maharaj has been laying so much emphasis on Srila Prabhupada's position. So, for example, Guru Maharaj often quotes Prabhupada in various lectures. So as I was saying, that he is not trying to say that, this is my realization or this is what scriptures say, Shastras say, or this is what I've learned from Shastras. No, he always tries to say that Srila Prabhupada said so and so. Srila Prabhupada said so and so. So there was one instruction which is very relevant for us Grihastas. And when recently I got married to one of his personal doctors, Dr. Hari Guru Das, in Rajapur. Guru Maharaj, we were fortunate to have Guru Maharaj's personal presence at the wedding. And when he was speaking, when he was addressing all of us during the Vivaha Samskar ceremony, Guru Maharaj again quoted Srila Prabhupada, and he said that Srila Prabhupada wanted all his Grihastha followers to be Paramhamsas. And prior to this, I had heard this. I heard Guru Maharaj said this in several of his classes. Even when he came to Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi for making his homage to Srila Prabhupada on the occasion of Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day festival, that also Guru Maharaj had said this. He had quoted Srila Prabhupada saying this again. So we often, I always had this question that what does Srila Prabhupada really mean when he says that he wants all his Grihastha followers to be Paramhamsas? And I wanted to, I had this desire in my heart that I want to get it personally I just wanted to ask Guru Maharaj and get that answer from him. But somehow, I never I actually never went and asked, because after the wedding, we had gone to Bangalore and with the relatives. And then when we came back to Mayapur, the first Srimad Bhagavatam class, as you all know, that Guru Maharaj, whenever he's in Mayapur, he gives the Bhagavatam class every Saturday. So when we came back to Mayapur, and the very first session that I had gone to here, in that session also, Guru Maharaj again said this, that Srila Prabhupada says that he wants all his Grihastha followers to be Paramahamsas. And in that lecture, Guru Maharaj actually explained what does it mean to be or what does Srila Prabhupada mean when he says that he wants everyone, like all the Grihastha followers also to be Paramahamsas. So it's basically, Paramahamsa is a person who sees Krishna everywhere. He will relate everything to Krishna. And coming back to the point which I was making earlier, that Guru Maharaj practically demonstrates how we can actually follow the scriptural teaching. So this teaching that we are supposed to be seeing Krishna everywhere, or we're supposed to relate everything to Krishna, and thus engage in devotion service. So I'll share one pastime. This happened during 2021. So sorry, last year when during 2022 we were celebrating Radha Mada's Golden Jubilee Festival here in Mayapur. Guru Maharaj was scheduled to leave for US a few days. I think it was on the last day, just during that time, like just before God Purnima, he was scheduled to leave for US. And just before that, when this Golden Jubilee Festival was being conducted, at that time, Guru Maharaj had got high fever and there were certain health complications. So one of his doctors prescribed that he has Dolo. And when the doctor said Dolo, Guru Maharaj immediately said, Golo Kera Prema Dhana Hari Nama Sankirtan. So obviously it took him a lot of effort that time because of the health condition. He was actually feeling very weak, but still he put all the efforts with short pauses. He linked a medicine, that's Dolo, to Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtan. Another similar pastime which Mahaviraha Prabhu had shared once, and I would just like to share it again here, was once Guru Maharaj was traveling to a foreign country, and they arrived quite late at night to the devotees' home in which Guru Maharaj was supposed to stay. And somehow it happened that, after moving in that house, the bed position somehow was not comfortable for Guru Maharaj. So the servants were trying to adjust the pillows, the mattress, the direction, everything, just to make it comfortable for Guru Maharaj. And somehow it happened that to get the proper position, the proper position of the bed, the proper pillows, the setting, everything, it almost 2 hours went by. And then Mahavira Prabhu and servants, once it was ready, they requested Guru Maharaj, you kindly sleep. And Guru Maharaj says that I don't want to sleep in bed consciousness. And he started sharing a Veda pastime. So as you all know, Veda pastimes is a Harinam Sankirtan pastime of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. So at 2 o'clock in the night, Guru Maharaj was sharing this pastime with all his servants over there. And then after the pastime was over, then Guru Maharaj finally took rest. So here he's again showing that, how everything can be linked to Krishna, and we need to gradually elevate our consciousness to that level. I'll share one of my personal realizations too in this regard, how, philosophically in the Bhakti Shastri classes, I had learned this, that Finished Radhikari, he's only interested in serving the deity in the temple, and he doesn't really lay emphasis on other things. And then gradually, as a person progresses and he understands philosophical understanding, and his understanding of shastras deepen further, then coming to the stage of Madhyamadikari, wherein the category, he deals with people according to them. So for example, they'll serve deities in the temple, they'll make friendship with like-minded devotees, they'll preach to the ignorant and ignore the atheists. And then finally is the Uttamadikari devotee who is going to see Krishna everywhere, and he'll make no distinction between, in giving the message of the Lord to anyone. So I somehow had, like, initially I had this thought, or it was like more like an experience that, when I was engaging in diet service in the temple, like some flower service or a backup room service, I used to experience some sort of transcendental, I mean, not transcendental, sorry, but just some special happiness over there. But at the same time, when I was engaged in something at home, where I was trying to link it to Krishna, obviously in accordance with instructions given by the counselors, I was not able to experience that same kind of happiness. So sometimes I used to feel a bit demotivated. Like, for example, my job. Now, my job was quite hectic. So it was like a regular corporate job, when I used to spend like 12 to 14 hours daily. And so I used to had to miss sometimes certain festivals happening here in Mayapur or something like that. So at that time I used to feel so demotivated that what am I doing? Like, why am I doing? At the back of my mind, there was this thing that, this is what counselors had prescribed, right? You do this and then offer the Lakshmi that you're getting in Krishna service, engage in Krishna service. But somehow in that situation, it used to just happen that I used to feel sometimes very disappointed that I'm not able to go directly to the service in the temple. And I was just praying that, I was praying that, please, Guru Maharaj, please guide me. And I was praying to Panchatattva in Mayapur. And then one Kartik, when I was just sitting for Damodar Ashtakam, that time, somehow, like, suddenly we just hear that, people are all hustling and bustling and they all start to gather in one spot. So seeing that, we actually realize, or we understand that Guru Maharaj is going to ride in the temple. So we also then went to that place where we could have Guru Maharaj's darshan. So when we went to Guru Maharaj, so as Guru Maharaj came, just having his darshan, so I had this thought in the back of my mind. I was praying that, Guru Maharaj, please help me out through the situation. But again, somehow I didn't go forward and ask him this. But as he came, just having his darshan, this realization, a thought just struck upon me that Guru Maharaj is an Uttama Adhikari devotee. The kind of transcendental bliss that he will experience if he's having darshan of Shri Radha Madhav, or he's engaging in some direct service with the Lord, or anything like anything in the temple, then that experience is 1,000 to 1,000,000 times more than what I would experience at my unqualified stage. And yet I'm hankering for it. But what is Guru Maharaj doing? Guru Maharaj is trying to dedicate each and every breath in serving his spiritual master, in serving the instructions of his Guru. And as a result of his constant engagement in service, he's always occupied. And the least amount of time that he's actually coming to a temple is probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And this doesn't really, it doesn't really stop his, it doesn't really deter his spiritual position at all. So seeing him just by his darshan, this realization was coming that we should actually try to follow in the footsteps of our spiritual master, follow in his footsteps, and try to dedicate each and every breath that we have in the service of spiritual master, in the service of Srila Prabhupada, and try to please Guru and Krishna, because ultimately, by doing what is instructed to us, that's the only way in which we can make spiritual progress. It's not like if I like doing something, I do it and I'm going to make spiritual progress. That will also probably it will earn the spiritual benefits, but ultimately it's important to do what the Guru wants of us. So again, this was another experience where Guru Maharaj, just by his darshan, without really speaking anything, or without actually me asking anything, his darshan and his instructions were there for me. And another interesting pastime or incident that happened was once when my Prabhu he had gone to Guru Maharaj, and there was an apple in the room, and the servant started joking that, Guru Maharaj, it said that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and here the doctor has come. So Guru Maharaj, you should have this apple and we'll send the doctor away. So there was just this joking conversation that was happening. And then obviously there was discussion regarding his health and medicines and everything. And then later on in the evening, when my Prabhu again went to Guru Maharaj's room, his face was like just a bit, like very slightly, disappointed kind of thing, because in the back of his mind, he was thinking about this. So then Guru Maharaj called his servants and said, like, get me 2 apples. And then my Prabhu was like asking me why. And then Guru Maharaj replied that one is for me and one is for you. So in this way, you never have to go away from me. So this pastime was so heart touching that now every time we see of apples, we immediately connect, we immediately remember this sweet exchange that had happened. And that's how we are able to, because at this stage, we're still not at Paramahamsa level where we are able to see Krishna everywhere. But by the association of Guru Maharaj, somehow we get this small opportunities to remember Guru Maharaj's instruction in various facets of our life, or remember Guru Maharaj in various actions or incidents that keep happening. And in this way, we hope and pray that we're able to constantly remember Guru Maharaj and remember his instruction that he has for all his rest of followers to be Paramahamsas and try to see Krishna everywhere. The next thing that I would like to say, that again, as I was saying, that Guru Maharaj is always laying emphasis on what Srila Prabhupada's teachings were. So that's his moon. So once Srila Prabhupada, so this again, in various of his lectures, as well as the monthly messages that Guru Maharaj sends to his disciples and other God brothers, in that message also, again and again, Guru Maharaj lays emphasis that Srila Prabhupada wanted all the devotees to study Srila Prabhupada books and get the Bhakti Shastri and then Bhakti Vaibhav and then Bhakti Vedanta degrees. So this it's so important. Like sometimes we just because of the busy schedule that we're all in, we at least I would say for myself, that sometimes it happens that we just try to take book reading or reading the scriptures in the back line. Like we'll do our chanting, we'll listen to classes, but somehow just reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we just like try to not give it that much. I'm just speaking of myself. I know there's so many devotees who had a dedicated time every day to read so much, but so here again and again, that's why, but this is so important that that's why Guru Maharaj is always again and again inspiring and instructing everyone. The Srila Prabhupada wanted everyone to study Srila Prabhupada books and get these Bhakti Shastras, like whether it's the Bhagavatam classes here in Mayapur or the monthly message that goes out to all the disciples, or when he's personally interacting with some of the devotees, like, various time we have these devotees from various yatras, they come to Mayapur and request for a personal darshan of Guru Maharaj. So that time also this point gets, and it's so important. Like once there was this, one of the doctors was sharing that once there was a health meeting going on, and after the intense discussion about the medications and everything, Guru Maharaj asked, how many of you are, reading Srila Prabhupada books regularly, and how many of you are pursuing Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav degrees? So even this, it's not like Guru Maharaj doesn't want us to make any excuse for reading Srila Prabhupada's books. So this is another thing which really touches my heart. And like whenever I feel that my day is busy and I've not been able to read Srila Prabhupada's books during the day, I still, and I'm tired at night, I still try to make an attempt to read some part, because at that time I remember Guru Maharaj, that Guru Maharaj is so busy. Like he, it's just astonishing that how despite his, despite so many, health related complications, obviously we're not supposed to see the spiritual master from Monday nights, but just to get inspired by him, I'm making this point that despite the apparent physical health related complications, still, and after doing so many services like GPC level services, Mayapur management, fulfilling the various instructions that Srila Prabhupada has given him, Guru Maharaj has been like he still, before sleeping, every single day, he will make it a point that some of his servants will read Srimad Bhagavatam to him, and Guru Maharaj will listen to it. So, and then he's also posting, like a recent, I think since last 1 or 2 years, he has also started posting what he's reading daily in the JPS app. So that's really inspiring, because that actually gives, at least to me, it gives me a push that despite such a hectic schedule, Guru Maharaj still reads. And sometimes when we observe, it's not like he's reading just 1 or 2 verses. He actually reads like a meaningful chunk. Like sometimes it's like he finishes one chapter in one day. So it just, again, reiterates the point that it's so important that we follow the instructions that Srila Prabhupada has given, and Guru Maharaj is practically demonstrating it to us. And we should really not make any excuses while doing so. Another thing which really inspires me, and the way it is past tense, I mean, many devotees have shared, and so as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when he is enlisting the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, he says that Vaishnava is kind and Vaishnava is compassionate to everyone. And then obviously other 24 qualities. So this was really the mood of all our previous acharyas and Srila Prabhupada. I mean, the fact that Srila Prabhupada went to US at the age of 70, after suffering the heart attacks and so much difficulty, all the struggle in the US for the initial 1 year, but yet he was committed to fulfill the instruction of his guru, and because his heart was so full of compassion, as it's there in the Leela, Srila Prabhupada would often go to the harbor, stare at the sea, inquire about the next ship, which is returning back to India. But then he used to feel so compassionate for the suffering Americans that he used to go back and again give it an effort, and in that way ISKCON was founded. So this spirit of kindness or compassion for every living entity, this is also so much evident in Guru Maharaj's dealings. So Srila Prabhupada writes in one of his purports that real compassion or real charity is when we're giving the holy names of the Maharaj doesn't miss a single opportunity in doing so. So this, like, when we often hear from some of his doctors that when Guru Maharaj goes to the hospital, after every investigation, whether by the diabetologist or the dietitian or the neurologist or the ophthalmologist, or even for the nurses or the ward boys who are coming to serve him, Guru Maharaj will make it the point that he will ask each and everyone, are you chanting Hare Krishna? Or somehow try to break the ice and try to chant, like, do you chant? Or and then if the person replies, oh, I chant the names of Vishnu, Ganesha, or this, I mean, some demigod, and he'll ask, how can we actually connect with other people and then try to give Krishna consciousness to them? It's not like upfront he'll say, oh, you're chanting the name of Ganesha, you're not supposed to be doing that, you're supposed to be doing Hare Krishna. He's very patient, very compassionate, and then gradually he will appreciate them. That he'll be like, oh, this is very good that you're chanting, and then try to tell them that you can also, in addition to this, chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And it's not just limited to the people who are demigod worshippers. He does this even with the Muslims and the Christians. And then there's so many instances where, there's several instances where certain Muslims or certain Christians have felt inspired and they've taken initiation from Guru Maharaj. So once again, this I heard in one of the JSS meetings only. One devotee was sharing. Again, he being a doctor, he had been with Guru Maharaj, and so Guru Maharaj always asks his servants to carry clickers with him in the hospital. So whenever this conversation is going and he's he's encouraging someone to chant, if they are positively inclined, Guru Maharaj will ask the servants to give them the clicker, give them the Hare Krishna mantra in writing, and then if he sees, the further inclination, then he'll also give the Panchatattva mantra. So in this way, once a similar pastime happened, there was some medical staff to whom Guru Maharaj gave the clicker and everything, and then So this doctor, this disciple of Guru Maharaj, he asked Guru Maharaj, "Are you happy, Guru Maharaj, now?" So then Guru Maharaj became very grave, and he, everyone in this world chants Hare Krishna. So that is the mood of our spiritual master. That is the mood of our Guru Maharaj, because he really wants, he's just like, his heart is so full of compassion for everyone that he wants that the spiritual consciousness spreads everywhere. And therefore, he always lays emphasis on preaching. And he wants all of us as his disciples to constantly go and preach out. Like, I read this on the website, Guru Maharaj's website, that several years ago, I think early 2000s or even prior to that, Guru Maharaj had come up with this idea of each one preach one. So the idea was that every day you have to try, like, Guru Maharaj was inspiring his disciples that every day you try to preach to one person at least, and then gradually see how you can link everyone to this devotional path. So that is the mood of our Guru Maharaj, and he really wants, and he will always appreciate whatever little things people do. So recently, when Guru Maharaj was in Chennai, he had gone to this Relas Institute for certain checkups. So there was one another fellow patient who she was one lady who was pregnant, and she was apparently staying in the same building where Guru Maharaj was residing in Ajita Prabhu's place. So they recognized each other, and the lady, she came to Guru Maharaj and she asked him in the hospital, "How are you?" And Guru Maharaj replied, "Yes, I'm okay." And they had a conversation, and then Guru Maharaj, as usual, he asked her, "How many rounds are you chanting every day?" So she said, because earlier when Guru Maharaj had met her, he had asked her to chant. So, so then again, this is also a very, this is also a very inspiring quality that Guru Maharaj always remembers. If he sees someone, and then when he sees next, he will always follow up. It's not like he'll forget about it. So he asked this lady that, "How many rounds are you chanting now?" So she said that, "I'm chanting 2 rounds daily." Now, let's just see what was Guru Maharaj's response. He says, "Wow, that is like 1.2 million names in a year." So it's just amazing. Now, and hearing that, the lady felt so happy. Otherwise, like, if we think, if when it's supposed to chant 16 rounds daily, and we're just saying that I'm chanting 2 rounds daily, 2 rounds seems a bit like, not like very, very great. But then Guru Maharaj, just to inspire her and to make her feel happy, he's appreciating her, and he's actually magnifying this effect just to, encourage her. And he's saying that that's 1.2 million names in a year. And hearing that, it just feels like, wow. And then, she'll get inspired to do more and more. So that is Guru Maharaj. At every single opportunity, he will not stop to preaching to anyone. And because of this compassionate mood that he has imbibed from the Guru Parampara, from Srila Prabhupada, we can see that, his spirit is just unstoppable. Nothing can stop him from engaging in his various preaching services and his desire to serve Srila Prabhupada's instructions and fulfill them. So often people, if you look at materialistic people, some of them, after attaining the age of 60, they just want to retire and live a very happy, comfortable life. But here is Guru Maharaj, who, again, I'm just just for making a point, I'm trying to say that, despite the age of 70 plus and the various health complications, nothing of it is able to stop Guru Maharaj. He will use every single opportunity to preach. Like, for example, like during the Vyas Puja, or I think during the New Year, I don't recollect exactly, there was, in the JPS app, Guru Maharaj has posted how many extra rounds of japa did he chant in the last year. So often we we do our 16 rounds, we complete our 16 rounds, but we don't, some of us are like, we really do more than that on daily basis. Ekadashi is being an exception or some special. We're like, we're so busy, we have this, we have that, we have this. But when we see Guru Maharaj, he has like so many services, like such important services with the GBC, with Mayapur development, Mayapur management, other various instructions that Srila Prabhupada has given him. Despite all of that, he has a time, and he's actually chanting extra rounds. So every single moment, like sometimes if disciples are taking him from one room to the another room, he will not even waste that 1 minute. Even in that 1 minute, he will chant some Hare Krishna mantras. So this is how he's trying to teach us that it's basically 24/7 we're supposed to engage in the Lord's devotional service, and we have to try to connect everything to Krishna. It's not like we can leave something aside or anything. And moving forward, we've seen that Guru Maharaj, he lays a lot of emphasis on devotee care. So this again stems down from the mood and the heart of the previous acharyas, and Srila Prabhupada especially, that is compassion. So we see this manifest, this mood of compassion gets manifested in the all accommodating behavior that Guru Maharaj has. He will take care of every single person. So I'll share some like 3 or 4 pastimes which I've seen personally. So the first thing that really touched me so much was a few years ago. We were coming to Sridham Mayapur during God Purnima, and from the main highway, when we take this left turn to enter and then come to Mayapur, it's like almost 20 minutes from there we reach Mayapur. So this diversion, there was a big billboard that's put, wherein it's written, "Welcome to Sridham Mayapur," and then it's written, "It's your sweet home," from His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, GBC of Mayapur. So this is like, that's the spirit. He wants to welcome each and everyone to Mayapur, because Srila Prabhupada gave him Mayapur. Srila Prabhupada told him, like Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj often says, Srila Prabhupada instructed Guru Maharaj that I'm giving you the kingdom of God, you develop it. So Mayapur is like the pet child of Guru Maharaj, and therefore he always ensures that everyone coming to Mayapur is really, they'll have a nice experience, they're taken care of very nicely. And it starts right from a place which is like almost 20 minutes away. It's just when we're taking a left turn from the main highway, and just reading those words, "It's your sweet home," which means everyone who's visiting Mayapur will get that homely feeling over here and just feel so homely over here. Then there was one pastime. Okay, so coming to the next pastime in this, when I'm discussing this, that how Guru Maharaj is, he's like so much full of affection and wants to care for each and every person, is there was one pastime shared during his Vyas Puja. I forget the devotee's name, but this devotee was sharing that several years ago, so this was before Guru Maharaj had the stroke, this devotee was facing some very serious problems in his Gresta life. And he went to consult Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj was very busy, but still, the devotee was sharing that it so happened that because Guru Maharaj was trying to listen to him and then consult him, instruct him that what can actually resolve the problems. And then it so happened that Guru Maharaj wanted to go to the washroom, and now apparently, generally what will happen, Guru Maharaj can just say that, okay, I have resolved your problem, now you work on it, and then there can be further discussions or something. But because this devotee still had more questions, Guru Maharaj went to the washroom, the door is shut, and the devotee is outside, Guru Maharaj is inside, and the conversation keeps on continuing. So here it just shows that Guru Maharaj has so much love and affection for each of his spiritual children, that he wants to help them. He wants them to he wants to resolve the problems so that they're all able to perform bhakti nicely. So when I heard this during that Vyas Puja offering, I was like really touched. I'm like, wow, there's so much of love and affection for this. And then gradually over the years, we started, we just started seeing it more often. Like, for example, when here in Mayapur, we see that whenever there's a wedding and Guru Maharaj is here in Mayapur, these devotees will approach them, and no matter how hectic the schedule is, Guru Maharaj ideally will personally come and visit and bless the couple, or he will at least send a video or an audio message. Usually, we have seen that Guru Maharaj wants to personally come and bless the devotee couple. Obviously, the COVID time was an exception where it was via Zoom or more by video blessing. But nevertheless, it's the same. Guru Maharaj, despite all his engagements, he has time when his disciples are. So it's like, as spiritual children, when we go to our spiritual father and we're asking for blessings, he'll always be there. He's not like, I'm busy and I can't, or nothing like that. He's always there to lovingly and affectionately guide everyone. And again, another two experiences that I'll share. So this was after our wedding, when we came to Mayapur. After the wedding, we'd gone to Bangalore and then we came back to Mayapur. So we had gone because my Prabhu had to, because he being one of the members of the health team, he had to go upstairs at the Lotus building and have certain medical tests conducted over there. So we had gone to Lotus rooftop and we were waiting. So I and my sister were waiting outside, and my Prabhu went inside to do the medical investigations. And Guru Maharaj, seeing him, was obviously, oh, you're back. And then immediately he asked that, where's your wife? And then, because we were shifting to a place called Kalyani, which is around 80 kilometers away from Mayapur. So then Guru Maharaj didn't just stop at there, how's your wife, where is she? He actually went ahead and he expressed his concern by asking that, did you get a home in Kalyani? So this just shows that how, this just reiterates the loving and affectionate dealings that Guru Maharaj has with all his spiritual children. He will never, whenever he's there, anyone who is there in his presence, he will personally take care. And he actually has this mood that he'll take, personally, he'll take care of everything. And then when Vamsidhar Vishal Prabhu asked me to speak during this JSS meeting, yesterday when my Prabhu had gone to Guru Maharaj again for certain routine medical investigations and some, something related to the medicine stuff, I had requested him that you please ask Guru Maharaj for blessings on my behalf so that I can speak in the right mood, and he empowers me to speak, to glorify, speak in appropriate words, something that will glorify him. And because I'm just not at all qualified to speak anything. So my Prabhu went and he conveyed the message. He asked for blessings, and that time Guru Maharaj is having his prasadam. So then, after conveying the blessings, my Prabhu left from the room. And then later on in the evening, when Guru Maharaj came to the temple to get to take Radha Madhav's darshan, Guru Maharaj handed over this garland to one of his servants, Abhay Prabhu. Abhay Prabhu is the son of Srimati Mataji, and he's serving Guru Maharaj. And then Abhay Prabhu gave it to my Prabhu, and he said that this is what Guru Maharaj gave for your wife. And after, when this garland came to me, I was so touched. I was like, oh my God. So again, we asked for blessings, and just by hearing, he's blessing us. But at the same time, he has, this incident happened in the afternoon, and in the evening when he's in the temple and he saw my Prabhu, then that time he's giving the garland and he's saying that this is my blessings for her session. So it just shows how lovingly and affectionately he's there for all of us, to take care of us, to guide us, to motivate and inspire us to do our bhakti and devotional services nicely. So that's his all accommodating attitude of how he's there to just take care of everyone. He will not never it can happen that someone is there in Guru Maharaj's presence and Guru Maharaj will not ask them questions about how they're actually we usually expect that he will instruct us something really high, the very high level philosophy or something from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, but he just makes it so simple. He will practically demonstrate the mood of the Shastras, the mood of the Guru Parampara in his personal dealings with each of the disciples. So coming to the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. So another quality is humility. And this humble mood has been there in our group, like the whole parampara. So for example, there was this pastime of Sanatan Goswami, who was again, extremely transcendental, but he was so humble. There's a pastime, as you all know, there's this pastime in Jagannath Puri when Lord Chaitanya asked one of the servants to call Sanatan Goswami to come and meet him. And there were two routes in which they could come. Sanatan Goswami could either come from the main road, which is the main road in front of the Jagannath temple, or there's a longer route from behind the Jagannath temple, which at those days was from the beach. And because of being from the beach, in the afternoon, it's really hot. And, so Sanatan Goswami actually went through that route. And as a result of the heat or this hot sand on the beach, he literally had blisters in his feet when he reached Lord Chaitanya. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing the blisters on the feet of Sanatan Goswami, asked him, that how is this? So then Sanatan Goswami explained that I came to that road. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him that you could have come from the main road of Jagannath temple. Why did you go to that road? And Sanatan Goswami, in his utmost humility, he said that I am lower than a mlicha. And on the main road, it's afternoon time, all the pujaris of Lord Jagannath will be passing to that main road. They'll be carrying bhoga to the Lord. And even if they see me, it will just purify them. And I don't want to cause any disturbance to any of them because I'm so fallen. I'm lower than a mlicha. And therefore I came to the longer route through the beach. And hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was extremely pleased. So this is the humble mood of all our acharyas. Srila Prabhupada too, we know this, there's so many pastimes where Srila Prabhupada demonstrates this humble mood, but then there's one thing which really touches, again, very inspiring, that how he says that, when he expresses his gratitude to all his disciples, that it's so nice that my Guru Maharaj has sent you, all of you, to come and assist me because I'm an old man and I cannot do anything on my own. So we all know how powerfully empowered Acharya Srila Prabhupada was. But at any occasion, when the time came for him to get any personal credit, he never took it. Even in the introduction of Sri Bhagavad Gita, he clearly writes that, there's so many editions of Bhagavad Gita, but then nothing is bona fide because no one is trying to present the message of Lord Krishna as it is. So when Srila Prabhupada tries to say that the only credit that I have on my account, he says that all credit for our publication goes to my spiritual master, His Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and the only credit that I have is that I'm trying to fulfill his instruction. So that is the humble mood, which, as demonstrated by the Parampara as Prabhupada, the same thing even we see in Guru Maharaj. So recently, like this New Year Eve's Kirtan, so in Mayapur, there's a place called Gaur Village, which is slightly far off from the main ISKCON campus. And they were having a New Year's Eve Kirtan on 31st of December 2022, and Guru Maharaj was invited, and Guru Maharaj came there. It was, amazing experience. Guru Maharaj, he addressed all the devotees there, and then he actually sang, and he actually stood up, and he was also dancing while leading the Kirtan. So it was really I felt very thankful to Guru Maharaj to be there and experience that bliss. But then while leaving, so after the Kirtan was over and Guru Maharaj was about to leave, the organizer of this festival, Vaikuntha Nitai Prabhu, he came and he thanked Guru Maharaj. He said that thank you so much for coming here and personally blessing us. We're all purified. We are very blessed by your association, Guru Maharaj. To which Guru Maharaj replied. And before I read out the reply, this reply just touched everyone's heart. Everyone was just dumbfolded. They had no words to say. Guru Maharaj said, "Thank you for inviting me. I am purified by taking your association." I'll repeat. Guru Maharaj said, "Thank you for inviting me. I am purified by taking your association." And as I said, that no one just had absolutely no words how to reply to this. I mean, Guru Maharaj was expressing such humility, obviously, just to teach us, just to instruct us, just to show us by personal um, live demonstration that no matter what we do, no matter what services we're doing, if we're not humble, there's no point. And this humble mood is something that really pleases Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, we see that every single action of Guru Maharaj, when we can see that he is trying to practically demonstrate the mode of previous acharyas and trying to teach us how we can follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas in very simplest, like in our very day-to-day lives, in a very simplistic approach. And with that, I would like to end it over here. And Medavini Mataji, you can please carry on from. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very, very wonderful to always hear about Srila Guru Maharaj. You mentioned so many instances of how Guru Maharaj is an embodiment of compassion and how he's got this and exhibits the mood of the Guru Parampara, how he himself serves as a shining example for all of us to study Srila Prabhupada's books in spite of his busy schedule, and how he cares for the devotees. And when I see your garland, I continuously remember the, how wonderfully you received this, as mercy of Srila Guru Maharaj, and how Srila Guru Maharaj cares for all of his disciples. Very, very wonderful. Thank you so much, Mataji. If anyone has any query, you may raise your hand. And okay, so Suprabha Sumitra Mataji is saying, Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji. Thanks for sharing such inspiring pastimes. So thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Very, very grateful to you for taking time out and sharing all these wonderful qualities of Srila Guru Maharaj with us, with instances, with live instances of how Guru Maharaj depicted all of these wonderful qualities. So thank you so much, Mataji. Does anyone have any question? You may raise your hand. Otherwise, we will proceed with the chanting of one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra with Srila Guru Maharaj. Anyone has any query? Okay. Wonderful class. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful comments on the chat box. Radhika Mataji saying, thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam. So a lot of wonderful comments on the chat box. So thank you so much, Mataji. Very, very grateful to you. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हिज होलिनेस जय पताका स्वामी श्री गुरु महाराज की जय, अनंत कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. Okay, we have Jiva Pavan Gaur Prabhu who's raised his hand. Prabhu, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, Prabhu. Jiva Pavan Gaur Prabhu, you can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all devotees. Thank you, Mataji, for and Dandavat Pranam to you and your garland, Mataji. Thank you for very inspiring class and the experiences you shared of Guru Maharaj. Mataji, just one request, as you spoke about the pastime of Guru Maharaj, connecting everything and remembering with Lord Krishna, like about the Dolo and Golokera Premdhan Krishna Harinam Sankirtan. And the second pastime you said about the bed, at even at late night at 2 p.m. that Guru Maharaj was remembering the Lord's pastime of Lord Jagannath. So Mataji, one request, Mataji, can you please speak that pastime also? Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Proji. So this Beda Hari pastime, the Beda Harinam Sankirtan pastime is basically in Jagannath Puri. So just before the Jagannath Rath Yatra, Lord, we know, like the Chaitanya Charitamrita describes how Lord Chaitanya goes there and he performs this ecstatic kirtan. It's not before the Rath Yatra, it's after, like it's basically during the Rath Yatra. So once Jagannathji is there on the chariot, and then Lord Chaitanya is there and he's doing his ecstatic dance for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. So and there are 5 circles basically created. So in one, Haridas Thakur, one is Advaita Acharya, one Gadadhar Pandit. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's simultaneously there in all the circles. And it's basically like Ras Leela, like how every gopi felt that she was personally dancing Lord Krishna, because Krishna had expanded in so many forms. So similarly here also, while there were 5 circles, it felt that, I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded himself and he was there in each and every circle. And there's this whole description in Chaitanya Charitamrita that how ecstatic it was. So this is one of like Guru Maharaj really, like Mahavira Prabhu was sharing once, that Guru Maharaj really loves this pastime and he likes to always, whenever there's an opportunity, he likes to share this, that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engages in the ecstatic dance or Sankirtan of the Lord's holy names. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Jipan Gaur Prabhu, you can unmute yourself. Would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mataji, for elaborating this pastime, and really felt inspiring from hearing your pastimes with Guru Maharaj, also personal, all your as devotee care, Mataji. Thank you very much, and thank you to Vamsidhar Prabhuji, Medhavani Mataji, and all the devotees here. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So we have Jatla Radhika Mataji also saying Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Dandot Pranam. So very wonderful session, Mataji. Very, very grateful to you. So we will now proceed with the next part of the session, which is chanting of one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which Guru Maharaj will chant this after the Sankalpa Mantra. So I would request if Vamshidhar Vishal Prabhu can share the screen on the Sankalpa Mantra. Shri Japataka Swami Dhrida Arogya Dirghayu Siddhyarte Hare Krishna Mahamantra Japa Vinyogaha. Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with good health and long life of His Honorable Jayapataka Swami, Srila Guru Maharaj. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri
Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda
श्री जयपताक स्वामी दृढ़ारोग्य दीर्घायु सिद्ध्यर्थे हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जप फल निवेदनमस्तु. I dedicate the results of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the good health and long life of His Holiness Srila Jayapataka Swami Srila Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining in. Now we'll have Guru Puja as a grand culmination of the JSSS program. We thank all the devotees who joined in. We request the devotees to switch on your cameras if possible, so we can take part in the Guru Puja. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Jaya Jaya Guru Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma Vandamohi Savadhana Mate Vandamohi Savadhana Jahara Prasade Krishna Prapti Hai Jahan Hai Te Guru Mukha Padmavakya Arana Kariha Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Ratri Aise Uttama Gati Shri Ye prasade pure sarva asha Chakshudana dila jai जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम वेदेगा जहाँ रचरिता गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु कर लोके नाथ लोके रजीवाना लोके नाथ हमारे पद छाया हे बेजाय घुषु त्रिभुवाना हे बेजाय हे बेजाय घुषु त्रिभुवाना छाया हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया एबे आयुषु त्रिभुवाना एबे आयुषु त्रिभुवाना जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौर कथा धामदाय नगर गमदारिणे नमो श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी आश्चर्य शतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we thank all of you all for staying till the end of the JSSS program today. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Meet you all for the next program, which will be announced in the JSSS group soon. So thank you all very much. So if anyone would like to share anything, you may do so.
Is on Saturday, which is
Yes, Prabhu. You're not audible. Your voice is breaking.
the next program is on Saturday, 4th of February, and we have His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj addressing us. So that's
Haribol.
all.
Wow.
Yeah. So please be there. Please participate. I'll send the invitation soon. Saturday, 4th February, 4 p.m.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Now we'll end the session now, Prabhu. Anything else?
No, nothing else. So we can end. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Shila Jai Pataka Swami Shila Guru Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koji Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Maybe you know the health update of Shila Guru Maharaj. Yeah, I think Mamshir Vishal Prabhu had posted what Guru Maharaj has already posted in the app. Is there an update to that, Prabhu? that you're aware of?
No further update to that. So he had fever which has subsided. There is pain and swelling in one of the leg, and he has been advised rest. That's the update we have at the moment.
Okay. So any future updates as and when received, Prabhuji will post in the group. So Hare Krishna. So we can continue chanting extra rounds for Shri Guru Maharaj as we usually do. And request all the devotees to also, if possible, join us on the Brahma Muhurta